Welcome to the Athletic FC podcast with me, Ayo Akinwolere. Erling Haaland became the fastest player to reach 100 Premier League goals, needing just 111 games to get there. So how many more records can he break? Joining me right now, we've got our Manchester City writer, Jordan Campbell, with us. Jordan, good to have you with us. You were at Craven Cottage to witness Haaland make history in the mad 5-4 victory against Fulham. I mean, what an achievement, and also what a game.
Just about, Pep Guardiola sort of summed it up. He said you'd all written that Man City were back at 5-1, and then you sort of had to put that in the trash. So, yeah, I couldn't believe it. When I went to 5-2, I was thinking, surely not. And then every time the ball went in, all I was reminded of, I could keep thinking of, was the Alex Ferguson's final game where Lukaku got the hat-trick with West Brom, and I was thinking, that felt like a 5-5 game because it was like this festival sort of testimonial atmosphere, but really it shouldn't feel like that when Man City are going for a title. But for some reason they keep making life really difficult for themselves.
For sure. Well, we have to talk about Haaland because he became the fastest player to reach 100 Premier League goals. 100 goals in 111 games. I mean, what an achievement that was. And, Pep Guardiola, I think, was asked by a journalist in his post-match how high his ceiling was. He went, look, if you told me he'd be scoring 100 goals in 111 games, like this guy's about numbers. Forwards are about numbers and stats, and he's extraordinary.
Oh, yeah, he is. I mean, that overall figure of 260 that Alan Shearer set, that's clearly been in the conversation ever since he made his debut and scored two against West Ham, and we realised, like, this guy doesn't need much time to adapt to English football. But I mean, 100 goals in 111 games is, as you say, it's just frightening. When he went through one-on-one and with the goalkeeper and hit the post, you were thinking maybe he's going to be in the nervous 90s and we might be here next year and he's still not scored. But pretty soon he showed that was just a blip. But he's incredible, and I think aside from the goals this season, you're seeing the real development of his hold-up play. The way he just barged Anderson out the road and played this really great swivel pass through to Reinders, sort of blind pass. We're seeing that a lot more with him linking up with Foden. And City, I know we were critical of them, I've been critical of them defensively and how much they're sort of sitting off the ball now, 43% possession. But the one thing it is doing is it is opening up the opportunity for Haaland to play on the counter, and that is a scary thing. And I think when you looked at, was it 36 goals in his first season, dropped the next season, and then last season I think it dropped to 22. You're thinking, maybe English football's, slightly got used to him a bit more, that he's got to revert to some more normal numbers. But I don't think Haaland does normal numbers, and I think this season you're seeing that he's on track to at least match what the record that he already broke. And it wouldn't surprise me if he does it. He's a freak of nature.
As we're talking more numbers, Haaland has beat Shearer's record of 100 goals in 124 games, the previous fastest to the century. Kane did it in 141 games, Aguero 147, and Henry in 160 games. The Premier League has evolved over the last few years. We've seen bigger players over the last few years at this level of the Premier League to achieve that. For me, that's what's astronomical.
Yeah, it is. I mean, some of these players like Shearer, I think, the current generation of people watching football sometimes can't relate to football in the late 90s or early 2000s. They sort of see it as this different sport where things were easier. I mean, I'm not sure I believe that, but the Kanes and Rooneys and Henrys of this world, that the numbers that Kane was posting felt like, how he just flew as soon as he went in the team, and it felt like it was going to probably take something really special for somebody to come in and hit the ground running as quickly as he did. But yeah, every week I feel like I go sit down and I look at the Opta stats, and there's another record that he's about to break. I mean, even look at the Champions League. We're talking about the names in the Premier League. The Champions League fastest to 50 goals, and he makes Ruud van Nistelrooy look like he couldn't hit a barn door. It's incredible how he's just normalising things, though. Like, the only people that we've seen do this is probably Ronaldo and Messi in terms of those numbers. And the question is, can he do it for 10, 12, 15 years? Well, he's been doing it for what, 5, 6, 7 now? So I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. He looks in the best shape I think we've seen him. And he was saying yesterday that Pep was sort of almost telling him at full time, like, I need you fit. And now that we're seeing the sort of glimpse into his world through his YouTube, I think you can see how much work that he puts in off the field to making sure he's this well-oiled machine. So, yeah, I think it's incredible what he's doing, and I think the only danger is that we become so used to it that you almost get desensitized to this. But you know, I don't know how many games he'll be on when he gets to 200. But the fact that we don't think there's a question of whether he'll get to 200 is pretty special, I think.
Yeah, but also, I mean, you just said, who knows if he'll do it for 10 whatever years, but is Pep Guardiola also integral to that if you think about it? The work he's done with him in allowing him to express himself, but also playing a system that really suits this player's prowess. Do you know what I mean? If Pep leaves in the next 2 or 3 years, will Haaland be as prolific, do you reckon?
Well, that's the question is, Haaland signed a 10-year contract, within the last year. He's committed to City, but there's obviously the 115 charges are there still to be decided. You've got Pep. We don't know. We never know whether Pep's going to sign a new contract or not, whether he can finally pull himself away. But, City are going through a transition just now. If they don't win the league, that's 2 years in a row they've not won the league. Haaland needs to be winning titles. So, we've become so used to City winning titles. I think the question is, of what life will be like for Haaland after Pep. But a lot of people thought, oh, there's no way that Pep will ever play with a striker like Haaland. I mean, he's shown that he can pretty much coach every type of player, and he's not just a one trick system manager. He's reinvented the wheel so many times, and this is what we're seeing just now is he's doing it again. And I think it has sort of brought back to life that Haaland goal that we saw all the time in Dortmund, where he's running through in goal. It felt like that was never going to happen again because teams sat in so deep. But Pep's adjusted and he's asking teams, okay, you come on to us then, and we'll leave that guy up front. But I think the biggest thing for Haaland, apart from the goals and what you're saying about playing under Pep and how long will he be here, etc. After him, is like you see his commitment to City since he got made one of the leaders in January. He's just gone up another level. Like the amount of work this guy is putting in, the amount of headers he's winning in his own box, the amount of pressing he's doing, it is incredible. My only fear for him is, can he keep that up for a whole season when it's 60 odd games? Can he really be putting in that much work? I think that's the question to ask. Marmoush is away to the AFCON later this month, so he's going to have to basically play every game almost. But yeah, his all-round game and his work rate is really impressive, because with these superstars, the more of a superstar they become, usually the less work they put into the team and the more the team has to adjust. You seen that with Salah at Liverpool. Haaland is not asking anyone to do his running for him, and I think it's actually quite nice to see a superstar who has got the same work ethic as everyone else.
It's fair to say the last two games City they've looked like they were going to win it, and they've made life really difficult for themselves. I just want to relay something what Pep Guardiola said in the post-match, where he was like, we've made 6 or 7 new signings in, the last 2 transfer windows or something, and, maybe this is a lesson for the club. You can reinvent the wheel, but you still got to get those components working, mate. Like, that's what we're seeing right now. The team is stacked with stars, but how they work together, they're still being found out in moments, aren't they?
Like, how did that happen? Because we've seen it happen against Leeds at the weekend, and you're thinking, well, surely a team full of these serial winners. And then I paused and I was like, well, how many of these players are still serial winners? Because, and I looked through it, City have lost over 1,500 Premier League appearances in the summer. 1,500 with Akanji, De Bruyne, Walker, Gundogan, all of these players leaving. Huge players in their recent history. And they've replaced them with good players, but a lot of them are players that need developed. And then I looked at it, and we've made 11 signings, 2 of which are Trafford and Bettinelli, goalkeepers who aren't playing. If you take them out, the last 9 major signings they've made since January, not one is Premier League experience. So, Guardiola sort of summed up Tuesday night as being, it's just the Premier League. There's no other way to explain it. That it's just, that's what the Premier League does to you. And I think there is an element to it. where you think, I mean, there's no easy games. You can't take your foot off the gas, and maybe some of these players are still adjusting to that because this has happened so often. Brighton early in the season, they were a goal up and ended up second half, never started, couldn't arrest the game. Leeds 2-0. You're thinking it's a case of how many. Didn't start the second half and couldn't find a way to sort it out until obviously Donnarumma goes down. But you're really there's a real trend here where City are actually playing quite well and then they cannot sustain it. Brentford was another one away that 1-0 ended up being quite edgy. Monaco, they were up, being quite edgy. Villarreal ended up quite edgy. They're having these periods where they just completely stop playing and they can't keep the ball. And it's quite a strange sight to watch a Guardiola team that just you know, isn't wave after wave of possession. They're actually sitting back and can't get out. That's quite alien to watch, and I'm not sure how comfortable he can be watching it because that's sort of a foreign concept. It goes against all these principles. But I mean, if he can win the league, play almost counter-attacking football at times, I mean, then he's probably ticked every box there is. But no, there's no way that City can keep going on like this because that was an unserious performance in the second half. And, we're looking at an Arsenal team that is just not conceding many chances at all. City have conceded at least 2 goals in the last 4 games, 10 in total. It's 3 more than Arsenal have conceded all season in all competitions. So when you're looking at, right, what do our rivals have that we don't? Usually defensively, Arsenal have been a little bit better than Liverpool and City, but attacking-wise, City have maybe been a bit ahead of Arsenal, whereas the gulf in the defensive stuff just now is so big that it's going to catch up with them. So they need to sort it out. But I'm not sure how you do that when, as he says, Nico Gonzalez, it went from being purely reliant on Rodri to now being purely reliant on Nico Gonzalez in midfield. So they don't quite have the numbers in there to really maintain a sort of physical presence in midfield. And yeah, it sounds like excuses because I've spent a hell of a lot of money. I mean, but Kovacic is out, Rodri's out, and they don't really have another player like that. So it is a difficult one.
All right, thanks for that, Jordan. Let's leave it there. And also thank you for your time and thank you guys for watching as well. Don't forget to like the video, leave us a comment with your thoughts on Erling Haaland as well. Is he going to break Shearer's record? I don't know. I kind of feel he might do. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you soon. For more from the Athletic FC podcast, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We've got top journalists like David Ornstein, Matt Slater, Adam Crafton, Carl Anker, and plenty more through the entire season. Make sure you don't miss an episode of the Athletic FC. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts from.